My name is Michael Ross. My credits typically read Michael C. Ross because there's a couple other people named Mike Ross that do the same thing. When I was about 12, I started playing drums. When I was about 16, I started touring with gospel music groups around the country and then around, the US, and then eventually around the world. And through doing that, one of the groups I was in went into a recording studio in Los Angeles, and I watched that, and I couldn't take my eyes off the engineer and the producer, and at that day I went, I'm doing that. I like change. I don't like doing one thing all the time. I like changing as much as I can. Going from mixing for a while to tracking for a while to overdubbing for a while to sometimes I'm co-producing, other times I'm just engineering. Sometimes I'm doing jazz music, sometimes I'm doing rock music. Sometimes I'm in Thailand. I like it to change up. It keeps it interesting, keeps it fresh, keeps it so I don't feel like I'm always doing the same thing. So I'm always learning from everybody I work with. I like every part of it, and I like every style of music. I've done everything from jazz to marching bands to rock bands to, I've worked in Turkey, I've worked in Thailand, I've worked in Spain. So it's always interesting to work in a new way, in a new place with new people, because everyone's different. It's really it's the funnest thing for me, is always changing it as much as I can. Well, there's certain moments that I'll never forget. Like, I worked with Ella Fitzgerald one time when she was about 80 years old and was doing some kind of a commercial for some kind of sound component, and she was 80, but she was still amazing. But it's like she got it right in take 1 or 2, and the band got it right in take 4 or 5. And so I had to find a way, and this is a long time ago, so it wasn't simple to take one take and put it over another one. So I had to find a way to get the band and her on the same take, sounding good. I took a Polaroid picture of Ella Fitzgerald and I still have it, because she's just she's maybe the greatest jazz singer of all time. Also, on one blues record a few years ago, I got to work with Eric Clapton and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and Stephen Stills, and we did some of the takes live, and it was really fun to get to capture great performances like that. Well, my mixing technique has evolved over the years, and now I love mixing in Pro Tools in the studio in my house, and so I just clients give me their files and they say, just mix them, get it how you like it, and send it back to us. So I just like to, if I do it in my house or in a private studio, I can just work for a few hours and then stop. And but as long as I have some kind of speakers that I trust and an environment where I can hear, I like to work. I don't want to mix 14 hours a day if I can help it. I'll work shorter days and split them up how it's comfortable, and I can stop and go see a movie if I want to. So I like it to be relaxed, so that, but it ends up taking about a day a song still, but I split it up now, so I could do the mix in stages. I'll set the mix up first, then let's say I'm mixing 5 songs for an artist, I'll go through and set the 5 songs up like I like to, so it's kind of like a console. Then I'll go through and do the initial balances, and then I'll go back through and do the fine rides. So I do a process like that now, because it's so nice to not have to go into a studio and, work for 3 hours and commit to the song and then it's done and you go to the next one. And it also works great because now I could do the mix on my own and send it to people and they can listen in their own environment and give me comments back, and then I can adjust the mix to their preferences. It's really a nice, comfortable way to work. It's an interesting trade-off because when I listen to hardware gear, it's easier to get a good sound from that. But the convenience of Pro Tools is so incredible that my goal is to make it sound great inside of Pro Tools, so that way, if 2 months later someone says, hey, I like that mix, but here's a new vocal. Can you just put that in and remix it and send it to us? And so I can say yes. Because in the days of hardware, I'd have to book studio time and recall the mix, which might take all day, and then put the new vocal in. So my fallback is in Pro Tools because of the demands of people and because of how convenient it is, and it does sound good. And I'm always looking for new plugins, and I've got so many kinds of reverb and EQ and compression that I can use different ones for different styles, and it works. And it gets down to, do I hear the right thing coming out of the speakers? And my job is to make it how I think it should be.